Hi and welcome to the Silverstone Museum channels, and today we're going to look at a car that we've had here for a little while in the museum, but is really special. It's the Reynard 873, a car that was used in the British Formula 3 Championship in 1987, and it was driven by that fan favourite Johnny Herbert, who went on to drive Formula 3000 in 1988. Some of you will know the story. He had that horrendous accident that really hurt his legs, but then went on to be very successful in Formula 1, winning the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone in 1995. Anyway, that's another story. Let's have a look at the car. And this one I absolutely love for a number of reasons, one of which I'm going to come on to in a moment. But first of all, when we look at it in detail, we see how kind of basic and simplistic it is. It is a carbon monocoque chassis, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But things like the way in which you could adjust the wings, if we look at this one here, it actually moves up and down really quite simply. There we go, we can see that moving up and down. And it's held in place with these little wires just here. So the driver would pick where they want that front wing setting. It's held on in a very simplistic way. A little bit different to the modern Formula 1 cars that are very sophisticated in the way they're held together. You've got your wishbone suspension and things, and if I get Jess to bring the camera along this way, you look at the side pod, look down here, radiator mounted inside the side pod, and we've even got the stone guard to stop any bits of rubber coming off the tyres and stones getting inside the radiator and damaging it there. Looking inside the car, very simplistic. If we can get the camera in, you can see the driver literally sits on the floor of this car. Gear stick here, very simple dials. A very quick car in 87. This car won a number of races, certainly here at Silverstone. It won British Grand Prix support races. It also won a famous race in supporting the F3000, 12th of April 1987. And the reason I remember that date, this car won the first ever race I came to at Silverstone as a very small child. That's why I love this car so much. Moving our way along, we've got this weird thing that I think we've talked about in some of our other videos, but this big pod on the side of the car. Well, this is the air intake. So the air is managed, how much air goes into the engine, and it's taken in through this side. We then move over to this really simple rear wing. If we look at the little gauges and holes on the side, you can't quite see them, but if we bring the camera around this side, Jess will be able to see these little ducts here that are cut into the wing. And what the mechanics and the engineers would do is they'd loosen these bolts here, and we'd be able to move the wing up and down, so the driver would be able to get the maximum amount of downforce out of the car. We've got the simple diffuser at the back here. If we look at the gearbox, everything's in this car, engine, gearbox, it's all intact. And we've got the very simple diffuser creating that extra kind of downforce at the back of the car, bringing the car down. It's one of the ones we've had here for a little while, but it's one of the cars that gets a lot of people talking. It's here at the museum. It is a car that was owned and raced by Eddie Jordan, the then going on to Formula 1 team owner with the Jordan team, person who introduced Michael Schumacher to Formula 1. Yeah, so this car is here on display at the Silverstone Museum. If you're liking our content, grab a like and grab a subscribe. And if you like a quiz question, get onto our Instagram channel where we could got lots of competitions, and you can win some fantastic prizes.